Let's count down 15 obscure country bands from 1971 that should have been famous. These weren't just songs, they were dusty backroad hymns echoing from jukeboxes and heartbreak. And the final track, it was almost lost to time until a cassette bootleg kept it alive.
I'm a truck driving man.
The night Miss Nancy Ann's hotel for single girls burned down.
Well, the preacher went out walking, 'twas on one Sunday morning. It was against his religion, but he took that gun along.
Number 15, Truck Driving Man by Red Simpson.
One of the very great songwriters and singers and song stylists, my old friend Red Simpson.
You already know the image: chrome grill, dusty boots, and a long-haul dream stretched over asphalt. But Red Simpson didn't just sing about truckers, he was their voice on vinyl. Truck Driving Man cruised through AM radios like a CB call from the soul. In an era where outlaw country was just starting to growl, Simpson was paving the highway with honky tonk grit and West Coast twang.
I'm a truck driving man.
The Bakersfield sound never sounded more alive or more underappreciated. His delivery is as heavy as a load on a midnight run, but twice as smooth. Up next, a band with southern roots and psychedelic shadows. Number 14, Georgia Pines by the Candymen.
Gentleman over here.
This is Dean Ox Daughtry.
Hello?
Robert Nix.
Hello, Robert. We got to go slowly now. I guess we got him. This gentleman here.
John Rainey Atkins.
John?
And Bill Gilmore.
Hello, Bill. Howdy, partner. You look relaxed.
Before they backed Roy Orbison or evolved into the Atlanta Rhythm section, the Candymen were a whisper of what Southern rock could be. Georgia Pines swings with soul, soaked in harmony, and held together by guitar licks that shimmer like Georgia heat. It's a song caught between Memphis and Macon, sweet like magnolia and sharp like whiskey.
I was born in a one-room shack in a field of Georgia pines.
They never cracked the mainstream, but for those who caught them live, this track was a Southern sermon in 3 minutes flat. Coming next, a song that would eventually inspire the Eagles, but started as a whisper in Alabama. Number 13, Seven Bridges Road by Steve Young.
This song called Seven Bridges Road.
You've heard the Eagles version, all velvet harmonies and arena echo, but Steve Young's original Seven Bridges Road is something else entirely. Raw, mystical, and aching with Americana poetry. He didn't write country hits, he wrote landscapes, and this one maps Alabama back roads with a gospel hush. It never charted high, but it haunted the edges of outlaw country and folk rock for decades. Every harmony that came after owes this song a thank you, and inspired a generation of misfits and dreamers. But next, we bring it back to the soft glow of a love song, written like a poem, and I'll write you a poem if you hit the subscribe button right now. Number 12, The Night Miss Nancy Ann's Hotel for Single Girls Burned Down by Tex Williams.
The night Miss Nancy Ann's hotel for single girls burned down.
A title like that, you gotta listen. And once you do, Tex Williams roped you in with charm and mischief. Known for his talking blues style, Tex turns this small town scandal into a smoky saloon tale. Equal parts tragic and hilarious, it's all pedal steel and piano swing with lyrics that tiptoe between satire and sincerity. Country music storytelling roots run deep, and this one, it's practically a one-act play in 3 minutes.
The night Miss Nancy Ann's hotel for single girls burned down.
Up next, the outlaw balladeer who sang sadness like scripture. Number 11, Mobile Blue by Mickey Newberry.
Stagger to the Greyhound station, LMM my destination.
If heartbreak had a postal code, it'd be Mobile Blue. Mickey Newberry doesn't just sing, he bleeds through every line. This track floats somewhere between country, folk, and a storm cloud. It's tender and slow, like a goodbye you don't want to give. Newberry never chased fame. Instead, he built quiet masterpieces like this, stories for insomniacs and dreamers alike. And while the world watched outlaw country take shape, Mickey was carving poetry into its bones.
Got me down, Lord, I can't take it. Here in Alabama for one more day.
Coming next, a duo that turned satire into Southern symphonies. Number 10, Funky Country Living by the Giesenlaw Brothers.
What a crowd!
With a name like that, you'd think novelty act, but you'd be so wrong. Funky Country Living was twangy, tongue-in-cheek, and shockingly tight. Musically, the Giesenlaw Brothers brought high-level harmony and serious chops to a track that playfully mocked country cliches while living them to the fullest. Now, this wasn't parody. It was self-aware brilliance before the genre knew how to laugh at itself. It never cracked the top 40, but it cracked up every truck stop jukebox from Amarillo to Tupelo.
Sam and son, the famous Giesenslaw brothers.
Thank you,
Brett,
Ralph.
I think you got a story about...
Next, a deep-voiced legend who could out-haunt Johnny Cash. Number 9, He's Everywhere by Dick Curlis. That voice, deep as a coal mine, steady as a freight train. Dick Curlis brought gravity to every note he touched, and He's Everywhere might be his most underrated jewel. It's a haunting tale of spiritual presence wrapped in gospel-infused country. Released during the height of rhinestone optimism, this song cut through the glitter with grit and grace. Curlis never chased pop. He chased truth, pain, and grace. You feel it in your chest like a hymn whispered across barbed wire. Coming up, a song about outlaws and old men that could have changed the whole Americana movement. Number 8, Desperados, Waiting for a Train by Guy Clark.
Yay.
It's a song about a man who was kind of like my grandfather. He was really my grandmother's boyfriend.
You don't just listen to Guy Clark, you live with him. And in Desperados, Waiting for a Train, he gives us a master class in character, heartbreak, and aging. This song is a slow ride through mentorship and memory, a dusty barstool confession about old cowboys and the young men who loved them. It wasn't a hit in 1971, but decades later.
It was like Desperados waiting for a train.
Legends like Whitley and Johnny would cover it because they knew its weight. This is country music as literature, and it deserved more than a cult following. But what's next? A wild take on a song you thought you already knew. Number 7, Me and Bobby McGee by Roger Miller.
This is a multi-talented man, a songwriter, a humorist, and a fellow who has now one of the biggest sellers in the country, a song called Dang Me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet Roger Miller.
Sure, Janis made it famous, but Roger Miller gave it bones. His early 1971 cut of Me and Bobby McGee brings a dusty road swing and a traveler's grin to Christopherson's wandering lyrics. Miller's version hits different, lighter, quicker, yet still soaked in freedom and quiet loss. It's the kind of track that made backseat radios hum along during cross-country trips. Roger had hits, but this version, it got lost in the shadow of Janis. Still, it deserves its own light. Coming up, a teenage tragedy song with a coin-op twist. Number 6, Pinball Machine by Lonnie Irving.
I'm an old hog hauler. I drove a big truck. I shot the pinball machine.
If country music had a rebel cousin with a jukebox addiction, it'd be Lonnie Irving's Pinball Machine. This rockabilly-tinged gem throws neon lights onto Honky Tonk Heartbreak with twanging guitars and a vocal delivery that dances somewhere between hillbilly punk and classic country. Irving told a cautionary tale about vice, luck, and lost time. Tragically, Lonnie's career was cut short. He died at just age 21. Pinball Machine is all we have left, a flashing lights memory of what could have been. Next up, a family band that turned revival hymns into road trip anthems. Number 5, Life's Railway to Heaven by the Lewis Family.
Combine the two. Yes, friends, relax, make welcome the Lewis family.
Before country went mainstream, it went home, and the Lewis family made home feel holy. Known as the first family of bluegrass gospel, their take on life's railway to heaven is more than a song, it's a sermon in harmony.
Blessed Savior, thou wilt guide us.
With banjos bouncing like train tracks and voices lifted in faith, this version wrapped sorrow and hope in the same breath. It didn't chart. It didn't need to. It moved the spirit in church basements and Sunday morning radio. You don't forget harmonies like these. Coming up, a novelty hit with more bite than people remember. Number 4, The Preacher and the Bear by Phil Harris.
Well, the preacher went out walking, 'twas on one Sunday morning. It was against his religion, but he took that gun along.
It starts off funny, but listen closer and you'll hear a pioneer blending vaudeville, blues, and country storytelling like no one else. The Preacher and the Bear by Phil Harris already had a novelty legend bring slapstick to life with a big band bounce and a preacher caught in the woods with one angry bear. It might sound lighthearted, but Harris's mastery of delivery was a precursor to the country comedians and the character singers that came after. You laugh, sure, but you remember it.
Well, hey, Lord, if you can't help me, for goodness sake, don't want that bad.
Up next, a trio with blood harmonies and a trail that went cold too soon. Number 3, End of the Road by the Hardin Trio.
2 real pretty girls and an ugly old boy.
Let's welcome the Hardin Trio.
There's something magnetic about family harmony, and the Hardin Trio had it in spades. End of the Road was their emotional high point, tight, aching harmonies wrapped in the sound of goodbye. It's a slow burn track that lands somewhere between heartbreak ballad and country waltz, with Bobby Hardin's songwriting carrying a heavy, beautiful sadness. This should have been their breakout, but instead the trio disbanded soon after, fading into country's rearview mirror. Still, the song lingers like perfume on an old letter. Coming up, a Honky Tonk anthem buried in jukebox dust. Number 2, Honky Tonk Women Love Redneck Men by Vernon Oxford.
It showed me that Hank knew a whole lot about the Bible when he wrote this one. It's called Be Careful of the Stones That You Throw.
Vernon Oxford always stood just left of center. Too twangy for Nashville, too sharp for the radio. But Honky Tonk Women Love Redneck Men is pure dive bar gold. It's rough, it's rowdy, and it captures the rugged corner of country that most artists were afraid to touch. His voice cracks like an old boot, but that's the charm. This was redneck country before it became a brand. It didn't chart, it didn't need to. It lived in smoky bars and back alley speakers. And finally, a track that almost vanished forever until it came roaring back on a bootleg. Number 1, You Can't Get There From Here by Gene Davis and the Brisk.
Here's one of the biggest songs I ever wrote, and no matter where we go in the country, people still want to hear it. We just re-recorded it in Nashville. Country.
Now this is the kind of track that crate diggers dream about. Gene Davis and the Brisk didn't chart. They didn't tour nationally. But in You Can't Get There From Here, they captured something honest and uniquely American. The quiet desperation of people stuck in a place they once loved, with its slow shuffle, pedal steel, and storytelling that cuts deep. This song became a hidden classic, passed from hand to hand on old cassettes. It's obscure, yes, but it's unforgettable. And if it had found a stage, it might have changed everything. If you found this deep dive memorable, hit like and subscribe so we can keep the music alive. These weren't just tracks. They were sonic postcards from 1971, sealed with dust, dreams, and heartbreak. Which of the songs hit you the hardest or surprised you the most? Next up, we're diving into 1974, where the ghost of glam and folk clash on every stage. You won't believe what made the list. Click the video on screen now to keep this journey going. Some legends fade, others hide in plain sight.